Now we are going to study the differences between marginal costing and absorption costing. These two are separate chapters. In this section 2 of marginal costing chapter in your textbook, we'll be studying differences between marginal costing and absorption costing. That is section 2. Marginal costing versus absorption costing. What are the differences? Let's make a P&L statement as per marginal costing. So let's make P&L statement as per absorption costing system. You have studied these two chapters individually. Now let's correlate them and find out the differences. If we have purchased materials costing 50,000, in marginal costing we record it as variable cost, right? So we'll debit, let's say, to materials 50,000. There is no difference between material transaction in marginal and absorption. Absorption costing, basically the difference lies in your fixed overheads part. So materials में कोई फर्क नहीं है. To materials 50,000. हम wages पे करते हैं 1 लाख रुपया. To labor 1 lakh. Same thing will come over here to labor 1 lakh. Now, I am incurring rent expense amounting to 50,000 rupees. In your marginal costing, the fixed cost is recorded beneath the contribution. Contribution minus fixed cost gives you profit. That fixed cost is the one that is actually incurred or that is actually paid. We record here to rent, which is your fixed overheads, 50,000. But we will not record this 50,000 in absorption costing. In absorption costing, first we determine a predetermined absorption rate, commonly known as OAR, overheads absorption rate, that is found using budgeted overheads and budgeted production. Let's say our budgeted overheads is 60,000 rupees and budgeted production is 1200 units. Let's take it as 2000 units. So what will be the absorption rate? Absorption rate is budgeted overheads upon budgeted production units. We get 60,000 divided by 2000, that is rupees 30 per unit. This is absorption rate. In your absorption costing, we will write two overheads absorbed. Absorbed we calculate by taking actual production multiplied by overheads absorption rate. Let's say our actual production is 1200 units into 30. What we get? 72,000 as our absorbed amount. If you see, the marginal costing fixed overheads are booked as 50,000, whereas absorption costing books an amount of 72,000. Amount absorbed is 72,000 and actually you have incurred 50,000 of your overheads. We conclude that there is an overabsorption of 22,000 rupees. Assuming that this overabsorption is due to inefficiency of the workers in the factory, we transfer it to costing P&L. by over absorption 22,000. Hence your fixed overheads of 22,000 gets adjusted. Let's record sales. Out of 1200 units that you have produced, we have sold only 1100 units at the rate of 2,20,000. यहाँ पर भी सेल्स तो सेम ही आएगा, बाय सेल्स 2,20,000. What is remaining? हमने प्रोड्यूस किए 1200 यूनिट्स और बेचे हैं 1100. You need to include your closing stock in P&L statement. So दोनों भी जगह closing stock आएगा. Closing stock 100 units multiply by its value. Over here, by closing stock 100 units multiply by its value. अब marginal costing, the name itself suggests it is variable cost. We will value closing stock in marginal costing at its variable cost only. तो मुझे बताओ, ये जो 1.5 लाख का खर्चा, वेरिएबल का खर्चा तुमने 1200 यूनिट्स के लिए किया है, तो 100 यूनिट्स के लिए कितना होगा? 1,50,000 divided by 1200 into 100, you get 12,500 as the value. Per unit 125. This is stock, closing stock is valued at variable cost only. Whereas in absorption costing, your closing stock is valued at full cost. अब ये full cost क्या है? What is this full cost? It is variable cost plus absorption rate. Variable cost is 125, absorption rate is 30. 185 हो गया rate. It will be valued at 185, 18,500 rupees. Right? 18,500. Let's find out the profit now. Marginal costing के हिसाब से profit कितना आ गया? Profit 2,20,000 plus 12,500 minus 550 minus 1 lakh minus 50, you get 32,500. What about absorption costing? You'll get profit of 38,500. There is difference in profit. भाई खर्चा तो उतना ही हुआ है, मटेरियल सेम है, लेबर सेम है, रेंट का भी हमने अल्टीमेटली एडजस्ट कर दिया. 72,000 माइनस 22,000 50,000. सेल्स भी सेम है, तो फर्क है कहां? द डिफरेंस लाइज इन वैल्यूएशन ऑफ क्लोजिंग स्टॉक. In marginal costing, we value only at variable cost, whereas in absorption costing, we value it at fixed cost also. Means we include fixed cost in the valuation of stock, and hence your profit as for absorption costing is more. Is more by how much? Calculate the difference. 32,500 minus 38,500, you get as 6,000. That 6,000 is nothing but ये 185 में 30 रुपीज इंक्लूडेड है. Sorry, the difference is how much? 32